like a pre-session to warm up.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
about
we're
to.
live.
Okay, I think we're live. Greg, are we live? You're muted, but I can read your. Okay, we're live. Okay, hi everybody. Greg's muted because he has children running over his head and they're making lots of noise. Mine are at school today, so that's why you can't hear mine. Hello, everybody. We have sort of a special surprise for you today. If you listen to the podcast, you've already heard Erin on, and we were talking afterwards about maybe doing a live session here in the 1% with someone, so that we can see the whole process of how she sort of digs into the things that get people stuck and how to get them unstuck. And rather than talk theory, we were looking for a brave soul that would not bear all, but at least bear some of the things that are getting them stuck. And we can see sort of Erin and Elisabeth working together through some of the issues and see how this process works. It's I've seen some other videos of Erin doing this, and it's really, really powerful. So I thought it would be a great opportunity for everybody to see Erin at work. Great opportunity for Elisabeth to have Erin help her out. That's about it. Greg and I are just going to shut up now and sit in the background and let Erin sort of. I think you're going to explain a little bit about sort of the way that you work, and then work with Elisabeth a little bit.
Sure, happy to. Hi, everybody. So my name is Erin Pheil, and I'm the founder of the Mind Fix Group. And we specialize in helping entrepreneurs and high achievers rapidly and permanently eliminate the biggest mental barriers and internal roadblocks that are holding them back from being able to achieve what it is they want to achieve and experience the happiness that they want to feel. So what I figured we could do today is, before I work with Elisabeth, I could actually take a few steps back and talk about this phenomenon of feeling stuck and of holding ourselves back and of feeling like we are running into these invisible brick walls as we try to move forward with our businesses and in our lives. So oftentimes people will know what they need to do in order to succeed. They'll take Ryan's trainings. They'll work with a business coach. They'll work with a mentor. They'll go to the courses and take the classes and do the webinars and read the books. And they know what they need to do, but day after day, week after week, month after month, they don't do it. Or there's a sense of resistance. There's this sense of like, I can do it, but it's just so much effort. It's like trying to move forward feels like going through the mud, or like you're dragging a ball and chain behind you, where you can do it, but oh my God, it takes so much energy. And when it takes so much energy and there's a lot of resistance, it takes time and it's draining. And so suddenly this whatever project or initiative or company that you're working on, suddenly the joy gets sucked out of it, and it feels like true work, true frustration. And people start to wonder, like, what's wrong with me? Why is there all this resistance? Why am I holding myself back? Why do I know what I need to do and then I don't do it? Like, am I broken? What's happening? So sometimes people will point to, we were just talking about this before we hopped on live here. Sometimes people will point to, well, it's my personality. I'm just the type of person who can't complete things, or I'm just a procrastinator. I always have been, I always will be. It's just wired in me. It's who I am. But actually, a lot of what's going on has nothing to do with your hardwiring or who you are or being broken at all. And the easiest way I can explain this is that as human beings, the feelings that we experience as we go throughout our days and the thoughts that just arise that we have no control over, that arise in our consciousness, and then the actions that we take, which then lead to the results that we experience, none of those are random. It's not like there's some like random die and they get rolled and it's like this person's going to have anxiety and this person's going to worry about themselves and how they look when they're on video. And that person over there is just randomly going to feel fearful every time they have to talk about money. It's not just random. We experience thoughts and feelings and then take specific actions based on our beliefs. What we believe to be true determines so much of our life. And it's actually examining and changing and impacting our belief systems and our belief structures that allows people to experience rapid, not just change, but rapid transformation. People can break through blocks and challenges and problems they've been dealing with for decades by going back to the root of their issues, which is not their personality, not how they were raised, not how they think, but their actual beliefs. That is the key. And by working on what we believe to be true, we can change our thoughts, we can change our emotions, we can change our actions, and we can change our results easily, oftentimes almost effortlessly, and very, very, very quickly. And to make this ultra simple, to give like the super, super simple example to make this real. Let's say someone comes to me and says, hey, I just moved to a neighborhood and there are dogs everywhere. And I need to be able to be around dogs, but every time I walk past a dog, my heart starts going like this and I scream and I run away. And it's a serious problem. I know, I've read articles. I know not every dog is going to attack me. I need to be able to live my life. Why? What's wrong with me? Why am I so freaking scared of dogs, right? Now, some people might read books and say, okay, we need to work on your emotions. Let's meditate. Let's calm you down. And every time that you're going to walk past a dog, you're going to be calm and you're going to just walk past the dog. Let's work on your emotions. Now, you can do that, right? But if at the end of the day, you have a belief that dogs are dangerous, you are going to have to work on your emotions and calm yourself down every time you walk past a dog, right? If I sit down with you and it's like, well, let's change your thoughts. I want you to tell yourself over and over and over again that dogs are great and you love dogs. I want you to repeat your affirmation for 20 minutes every morning. Dogs are awesome, right? So you try to change your thoughts. And yet here, the root of it, you have a belief that dogs are dangerous. And yet I'm telling you to repeat that dogs aren't and that dogs are awesome. You can't override that belief. It's going to be like trying to put icing on an open wound. Like it doesn't work. You're not fixing the right thing with it doesn't work. You can't convince yourself of something that you fundamentally don't believe to be true. Now, some people will say, let's just change your habits. It's all about building proper habits. That's how you create the most powerful and impactful change. So every morning you're going to walk up and your habit is you are going to see a dog and then you're going to look 30 feet past the dog and you're going to go to that point and you're just going to go past the dog and you're going to walk fast. And that's going to be your new habit. We're going to practice that every day for 90 days or 100 days until the habit sticks and you're able to just walk past that dog. Can you do that? Yes. Are you going to experience extreme resistance and fear and terror because at the end of the day, you still believe that dogs are dangerous? Also, yes. So yes, we can change. Yes, we can push through resistance. We can push past fear. We can try to change our habits. We can attempt to override our thoughts. But at the end of the day, it's our beliefs that are powering the thoughts and the emotions and the actions. So if we just come back to the root, if I had a magic wand and I just bopped you over the head and I extracted the belief that dogs are dangerous, dissolve that belief, and that was not there. And then tomorrow you went out to walk past a dog, you're not going to have any thoughts that you're in danger because you don't believe that dogs are dangerous. You're not going to feel anxiety and fear because you don't believe that dogs are dangerous. And when I say just walk past the dog, you're going to be like, okay, that's fine. I'll walk past the dog because there's no thoughts of being in danger. There's no emotions of anxiety and fear because there's no belief that all dogs are dangerous, right? There's the possibility, and you can examine each situation to see if the dog is dangerous. But having that blanket programming that puts you in fear every time you see a dog is gone. And the same exact thing applies to our businesses and applies to our lives as entrepreneurs. If you believe that it's wrong or that bad things will happen if you bring up money, it's going to be really, really difficult for you to have conversations about finances, to sit down with your CPA, to talk budgets, to put together proposals, whatever it is that is related to money, because part of you believes it's wrong to talk about money, right? So when we get these books and we get this advice from our mentors and all of the brilliant trainings from Ryan that tell us what to do, and then weeks go by and we're like, I'm not doing it. Usually there's some belief or cluster of beliefs that are preventing us from moving forward in the way that we know we need to. So today, what we're going to do as we work with Elisabeth is look at one of her patterns, look at one of the areas in her life where she's stuck. And instead of suggesting that there's something wrong with her, or that's just who she is, or to work harder, or to give her another book of how to get around procrastination, or how to beat your perfectionism, or some other here's tactics or strategy, we're going to examine her pattern, look at where she's stuck, and then we're going to backtrack and say, okay, what are the beliefs that would cause her to be stuck? Where if we pulled those out, she wouldn't act or feel that way anymore, just like the dog example. And we're going to go through the process of looking at a pattern, figuring out a couple of the beliefs that she has, and then clearing one of them live today. And before we do that, there's one other thing that's really important to share. I gave this example of dogs and being in danger. And it's a super simplified example because everybody loves dogs and everybody can envision a dog walking down the street and being scared of a dog. In reality, though, most of the challenges that we run into as entrepreneurs are far more complex than I'm scared. I think this one thing is dangerous and it's causing me problems. Most patterns, most challenges that we run into as we're building and scaling businesses are more nuanced and layered. So we'll have issues of perfectionism, maybe procrastination, difficulty setting boundaries. We may be dealing with constant feelings of self-doubt. We may have like a harsh inner critic. We may have imposter syndrome. We can have a whole host of symptoms and challenges. And we can take any one of those. And it's not a one-to-one ratio where, look, I have imposter syndrome. Every time I get interviewed or I'm supposed to do some type of media presentation or I'm supposed to share my story, I experience a pattern of fear and feeling like I'm a fraud or a phony. That may be linked to a belief, but what's most likely is that there's a cluster of beliefs, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beliefs that are holding that pattern into place. So what we do, it's almost like the pattern is held up with balloons. And if we pop the balloons, the pattern just dissolves and goes away. So while eliminating a single belief can seem cool or like a party trick, the magic actually happens in when you pop the different beliefs in the clusters of beliefs that are holding any pattern into place. So someone who recently we worked with someone who did high ticket sales, and every single time they would not have a successful call, they'd go into panic and have a lot of anxiety. So what we found is it wasn't just one belief that was keeping her stuck and not allowing her to move forward in her day and continue her sales calls. What actually was going on is we found out and discovered that she had beliefs of, I'm not important and I'm not successful. What makes me important and successful is being perfect. Mistakes and failure are bad. And if I make a mistake or fail, bad things will happen / I will be punished. So we had to go through and we cleared a couple of them. And she's like, I feel a little bit different. This is okay. Maybe my anxiety is reduced maybe 20%. But as we got rid of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and we popped those balloons of those beliefs that were holding her pattern of anxiety and fear into place, her pattern disappeared completely. She went from someone who was absolutely frozen in terror and could not work when she wouldn't have a successful sales call and would often take like a full day to recover before she could go back to work, to someone who would hang up a call, wouldn't get the sale, literally 30 seconds later, pick up the phone with zero anxiety and go on to her next call, exactly how she desired. And the only difference, we didn't do any training. She didn't have to do any mantras. She didn't have to think differently. She didn't have to journal. She didn't have to meditate. There was none of that. All we had to do was clear out the beliefs that were causing her to be stuck in her pattern. Pop each of those balloons. And once those balloons and those beliefs were gone and eliminated, her pattern dissolved instantly without her having to work at anything or change anything. So what I'm trying to communicate is usually our patterns and the reasons why we're stuck, it's caused because of a cluster, usually more than one belief that's having it be locked into a certain way of feeling or experiencing or being. I normally at this point pause and see if there's any questions. Is anybody writing in, or is there anything for us to check on? Nope. Okay. Well, then what I'm thinking is we can go straight into working with Elisabeth and kind of demonstrating how this process can work. Elisabeth, are you ready?
Yes.
Yes. Are you sure?
Never.
Never. Well, maybe that's the wrong question. How about, would you like to begin?
Sure. Yes.
Let's do it. I will promise to make this as not painful as possible. We're just going to go through and ask some questions and look at the answers together. And I'll step you through the whole process. And as long as you can be open and honest with me, we should make some good progress here today.
Can do that.
Cool. So when we talked prior to going live, one of the things that I was asking about is, what would you like to be different in your life? Like if you had a magic wand and you could change something about your life and how you show up as you are looking to be an entrepreneur and build your businesses, what could be different and what would make a big difference in your productivity and how you feel daily? And what you had shared to me initially was that you sometimes deal with struggling to complete different tasks and almost this kind of pervasive procrastination where you put things off. And you want to be able to focus on what's more profitable, but you find that you kind of resist and avoid some of the things that you know would make more money. So, I took that response and then we dug a little bit deeper. And it was like, well, what is it that's really bothering you during the day? What are you actually pushing away from and avoiding? And what feels not fun to you? Like where is the resistance, right? Like one of the ways we can know that we're stuck in our lives and our businesses is where we feel that resistance. Almost like some people describe it, I've heard it a few different ways. Some people describe it as this invisible tug of war, like internally, like one part of you wants to do this and then the other part's like, no, right? Other people, yes. Yeah, you're like, yes. Other people have described resistance as, I feel like I have one foot 100% all the way down on the gas, and then my other foot's also all the way down on the brake, right? Like I want to go forward, and then just as an equal part of me is like, nope, not doing that. And then I've also heard people saying, instead of this push-pull, it's almost like they're going, and they're running into a wall. And it's just the resistance is in front of them, and it's exhausting to try and push the wall forward or push through the wall, and it just doesn't work. So when we were exploring, like, where is this resistance for you? Where are you feeling this frustration and anxiety and pressure and that internal tug of war? What was so interesting is we uncovered there's one very key area in your life where this is showing up for you. And what we found is that whenever you are supposed to be communicating with other people, that anxiety and fear and resistance starts to bubble up. And this can look like you just having to fire up your email client or having to communicate on the phone with someone else. But whenever it comes time for you to take your knowledge and your specialty and all of your genius and then communicate to another human being, that's when everything feels like it's shutting down, it's coming down on you. Oh shit, like this is not okay. And suddenly whatever flow you were experiencing in your day and your momentum just kind of gets shut down. And so what we talked about is, what if we could look at why you feel so stuck when it comes to having to communicate to other people, even when it's about things that you love and are passionate about and know about, like your business. So is there anything you would like to add? Is that kind of an accurate summary of what we talked about? Is that still feel like a powerful area to work on?
Yeah, and I want to like note how ironic it is, because my businesses are based in teaching and blogging. So like they are communication based, but it's like with these types of things, it's like when you get on Facebook and you're posting into the void, right? It's one thing to be able to communicate and share with the world, but it's that like that interaction with actual other people that is somehow, it's like totally different. Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever you have to interact like in a one-on-one setting versus one to like publish
like emails,
right?
Like comment moderation, private messages. Yeah, like I can blog about stuff all day. I can post to Facebook a lot. Yeah, but yeah, it's the actual interaction with, it's like, wait, these people that are here are like real people with like names and they want to ask questions. So yeah.
So it really is almost any situation where there's the possibility of you receiving criticism or judgment back.
Oh, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm not good with criticism yet. I'll grow with it.
Got it. Cool. So the tip that I share with people who start to be intrigued by this type of work and go, you know what? Maybe I could experience some massive change. Maybe I could work through my blocks. Maybe I'm only stuck because of some errant problematic beliefs. Maybe I could start to dig some up for myself. So what I recommend is this $1 million question is, when you uncover where you're stuck, and for your example, we're dealing with situations where you have to communicate with someone else, especially in a one-on-one situation where there's a possibility that you could be judged or criticized. The $1 million question that we get to ask ourselves is, what might I have to believe in order to keep experiencing this over and over again? So in your situation, because it's one I've seen a lot, I can throw out a number of possible beliefs. Okay. And I'm going to just share a handful with you. And we're probably going to pick one of the simpler ones and clear that out today on the call. But in instances like yours, there's usually this self-doubt going on and a fear of what other people are going to say. And so typically, I would see that someone would have beliefs along the lines of, I'm a disappointment, I'm a fraud. And actually, before the call, I heard you use these exact words, but like, I'm stupid, right? And there's also something along the lines of something tied to your self-worth of what makes me valuable, what makes me worthwhile, what makes me worthy is having others think well of me, because there's almost this paralysis of like, if someone else thinks negatively, like I'm screwed, like that's dangerous to me, so there may be something in there about criticism and rejection. Like if someone criticizes me, it means I'm not worthy. So I share that with you just because if we were doing a full session, we'd probably go through each of these and come up and brainstorm a short list of what your cluster of beliefs might be. We'd clear them out and then we'd send you on your way for the week, and to see like how much your pattern has dissolved, like 100% or 80% or 50%. And then we'd come back and clear out any remaining beliefs or pop any other balloons that were related to your cluster. What really stood out at me though, when I was listening to you prior to the call, was the statement that you made of, I'm so worried people are going to think I'm stupid. I'm worried about being stupid. Like, I think I heard you mention that at least 2 times, if not more. And that's a heavy one, right? If part of us and I'm going to come back to this in a second, this whole part of us. If part of us believes that we're stupid, and then here we are trying to communicate with somebody else and share our knowledge, and then we're asking for money or time or to be promoted, whatever it is. But in here, we're like, I'm stupid. That is going to create so much resistance and dissonance, and it's going to make it harder for us to show up authentically and with confidence. Okay. Now, when it comes to beliefs, notice I said part of us. Almost all of the beliefs that cause us problems, almost all of them, we don't 100% believe. Like if someone came up to you on the street and they're like, you're stupid, you could probably come up with a list of reasons of why you're intelligent. You could probably argue, this is why I'm smart, this is why I'm intelligent, this is why I have value. I'm not stupid. The problem is these beliefs, it's like some part of us believes it to be true. Intellectually, our conscious mind is like, no, that's ridiculous. But down here, like in here, some old part of us, maybe like 2% of us, maybe back here, is clinging on to the belief. And that's what's causing the problem. That's what's causing the dissonance. That's the part that we want to
100%, because it's like I'll have, it's a really great week and I'm like, oh, I'm working on this project and it's going great. Oh my gosh, this is brilliant. I'm so good at this. And then it's like, yeah, so it's definitely not like 100%, but then there's that something there that in certain situations it pops up and it's like, oh, no.
Exactly. If it was 100% of you, you probably would have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning, right? Like it would just be like, you're absolutely convinced you're stupid. What's the point? What's the point of even trying? And so we spend a lot of our days and our time as we're working, trying to convince ourselves and push down these little problematic beliefs of, I'm a disappointment. I'm a fraud. No, I'm not. I just did this podcast interview. No, I just had a record sales week. There's proof I'm not stupid. And we try to push these down like beach balls. But the problem is we're trying to change our thoughts, right? And the beliefs are still there. And so it's this constant fight. Whereas if we can just clear out the belief so that this part of us is not holding on to it, we can actually have peace. We don't have to convince ourselves that we're not stupid all the time, over and over and over and over. Because again, consciously, we know that most of our beliefs and these things that we believe here are ridiculous. We know that we're good enough. We know that we're loved. We know that if we make a mistake or fail, we're not going to be rejected by everybody. And sometimes when we say these beliefs out loud, they sound ridiculous. They sound absolutely ridiculous.
You say it, like, I'm like,
I can't believe I believe that, right? And that's because intellectually and consciously we know they're not true. But there's that part that's stuck down here that it's like this part doesn't know it. There's this disconnect between here and here. So what we're going to do today is look to clear out the part down here that's still convinced that you're stupid so that it can align with the part up here that knows that you're not.
And then there'll be a lot less white knuckling it all the time.
Mm-hmm. Now, you'll still have things like I'm a fraud, right? And you'll still have like a disappointment. But what we're going to do is contrast how you feel about those things with how you feel about your intelligence. So the first thing we do anytime we're going to work on clearing out a pattern and we think we've found a belief that may be contributing to it that we want to clear out is we double check. We double check to make sure that you actually have the belief, and we look to see how does it feel to say it so that we can contrast it after the work is done. So if you close your eyes and you sit back, you take a breath, and you say out loud.
Am I closing my eyes for real right now, or is this like
close your eyes?
Oh,
yeah. Let's go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Let's demonstrate. So if you go ahead and you take a breath in and out and you simply say the words, I'm stupid.
I'm stupid.
How does that feel to say? What's it like?
It feels stupid to say it.
Okay. So I know it can be embarrassing and weird, but what I want you to do this time is actually, when you take a breath, I want you to kind of calm yourself down. Don't worry about being on screen. Don't worry about being nervous. Don't worry about sounding stupid, which you are because you have the belief you're stupid and you're worried about sounding that way right now. It's part of the cycle. What I want you to be able to do is actually connect to how does it feel when I say this to myself? How do I know some part of me actually believes this? Some people will feel emotions. They'll feel sad, they'll feel angry, they'll feel upset, they'll feel crushed. Other people won't feel emotions because they're kind of cut off from their emotions. They'll actually feel something in their body. I've had people who go, ooh, my throat tightens up. I have a pit in my stomach. My shoulders want to move forward. I'm contracting. Like, people have different reactions when some part of them believes that something to be true. So what I'd love for you to do is just kind of center yourself, close your eyes, clear things out. Just say the words and tell me how, like, what part of you reacts when you say those words.
Okay. Okay. I'm stupid. Oh, yeah. No, I feel it. Like that feeling when you are like when somebody busts in front of you on the road, and that like adrenaline feeling from your chest out down your arms. Like, I couldn't even get through saying it without it being like whoosh, an actual like hot electric.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Cool. That's brilliant. That's impeccable, perfect self-awareness. I mean, there are people who literally who can't even get this far. Like, that's absolutely fantastic that you're able to connect with that and understand that and have the awareness that you're feeling that. Is it real to you based on that response that you can tell some part of me probably is holding on to this and believes it to be true if I'm having this kind of reaction?
there's something, yeah, as ridiculous as it felt. It's like, oh, this is it's like, whoa.
Right?
Oh, crap. Okay. And there's like some emotion.
Yeah. Yep. So let's contrast that, and let's have you say something that you absolutely do not believe to be true. Like, say, I am a vampire.
Okay. I am a vampire.
Do you have that hot electric feeling in your chest?
Nothing. No.
Is there any discomfort emotionally or physically when you say that out loud?
No, not at all.
So can you see the difference between when you say something that part of you believes and then when you say something that no part of you believes at all?
Yeah, it's kind of blowing my mind.
It's a stark contrast, right? It's a big
Yeah.
difference. Cool. So what we want to be able to do is get your mind and your subconscious to a place where when you say I'm stupid, it doesn't have that reaction at all, and it's neutral. Kind of like when you said I'm a vampire. That's when we know we've actually cleared it out, is when there's no part grabbing at that belief anymore. Make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Cool. Great. So what we're going to do is, in order to clear out a belief like this, we have to first figure out where you discovered it, because you discovered it somewhere along the way in your life. You didn't come out of your mother on day one of your life going, hello, I'm stupid, and I'm absolutely convinced of it, and I believe it, right? You discovered it somewhere. You picked it up. It was told to you, modeled. It was feedback that you got or didn't got, comparisons you made. So what I'd love for you to be able to do right now is, and if it helps to close your eyes, please by all means do so. Some people find it helpful, some people don't. But I'd love for you to think back to when you were younger and share with me, where do you feel like you first picked this up? Where did you pick up and discover the message that you're stupid?
I mean, I think I just kind of felt that all the time when I was younger, but I don't know why per se.
And see, this is where your pattern of feeling like you're stupid actually starts to make interpersonal one-on-one communications difficult, right? Because you're worried about being judged. You're worried about saying the wrong answer. This feels threatening and not safe. And so you start to freeze, right? You're like, I'm not really sure. I don't have the right answer. I'm kind of stupid. Where you can see how if we can clear out beliefs of I'm stupid, I'm a disappointment, I don't know what I'm talking about, even a conversation like this could have so much more ease, because it might be like, I'm not really sure. What do you think? Can you help me? Right? Like, it would be easier, but because of this judgment and the belief I'm stupid, it actually makes you shut down and makes it harder for you to answer basic questions, which feeds the cycle of you feeling stupid, right? Even if you're not. So I totally am empathizing with where you're at right now, because the belief that we're working on is actually making it more challenging for you to have the conversation, because there's this like, I'm stupid, I can't come up with the right answer. So let's see if we can figure this out together. So when I've worked with other people, they've shared that they've picked up the feeling at some point or discovered that they were stupid because they had an older sibling that always got straight A's and they would only get B's. Or they would come home and show their report card to their parents, because kids want attention, acknowledgement, and affection. And they'd be like, look what I did. And the parents would be like, yep, I don't see straight A's. Why are you showing this to me? Right? There can be judgment from the parents. It could be going through a grade with a teacher, and the teacher was just brutal and mean and made fun of the kid over and over. Like, that's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. It could be from like some traumatic event where they went to get their IQ tested, got somebody else's results or something like that, where it was like they saw in front of them that they were supposed to be like actually not intelligent. So it can come, the message of I'm not an intelligent human, I'm actually stupid, comes from somewhere. And usually that type of judgment it's not something that just shows up. Someone had to communicate that to you, or you had to conclude that by watching somebody, by seeing somebody else, by comparing somewhere. So I'm curious, when you think back to how your parents treated you, or what your experience was like in school, or if you had siblings, or if you compared yourself to friends, like, where do you remember actually feeling stupid when you were younger?
So yeah, my probably starting in grade school.
Great.
I could not seem to make good grades at all at any point in school. I remember my dad, he tried to like pay me $20 for each A I would get on a grade card, just really sweet and encouraging. And I couldn't pull it off ever.
What grade was that? When would he try to pay you $20 to get good grades?
I think that started in 4th grade.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, we just couldn't make it happen. And I was always in trouble in school because I was just like, yap, 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 yap. Or I'd be like crying in the corner, or like my 5th grade teacher was constantly like, yeah, she's too emotional. She's, this isn't going to work, So yeah, I couldn't make grades for some reason. I, was able to focus more, toward the end of junior high, and started making good grades and like what I was really interested in and stuff, which is honestly probably why I homeschool my kids now, is because I struggled so bad in school. Yeah. And then I didn't even finish high school, because I got pregnant at 16, and I couldn't. I was just so sick, and it just didn't make sense anymore. And I was like, well, I suck at school anyways. I'm not going to bother with this. But then I aced my GED test, like as close to perfect as I've ever gotten on anything. So,
actually, I'm going to just stop you right there. So one of the really cool things about this work, the coolest thing about this work, is we don't need to do therapy. Right? Like, so many people think, well, if I go to therapy, I can get rid of my blocks. I can change how I am. I can change how I feel about myself. I can have more confidence. In therapy, like if we were doing therapy session, I'd have you just sit and just vent for the next half hour. And I'd be like, tell me more. Tell me more. I got what I needed in order for us to clear this probably in the first 60 seconds. I was like, cool. Got it.
Dang. All right, cool. I'm like,
absolutely. Like I was sitting here going, I can let her talk. Actually, no, we don't need to talk. Like, we just don't. Because one of the things is when we repeat our stories, it just deepens the neural networks and the neural pathways and repeats the same stories we've been telling ourselves. What's interesting is you picked this pattern up and this belief in elementary school. You cemented it in elementary school, and it was already there by the time you went to middle school and high school. And the reason I know is when you were saying I didn't finish high school, one of the things I said to myself is, oh, well, I suck at school anyways. You already had the belief by the time you dropped out. Some people would say, oh, dropping out made you feel like you were stupid. No, the belief was already there. The belief actually impacted your decision to drop out. You were already judging yourself and your intelligence by the time you got to high school. And it was part of, by having this belief at an early age, actually impacted your decision of whether or not to finish, right? And so then you go and experience things like acing your GEDs. But again, the belief is already there. So more data and information can't change your mind. It's already too late because it's already cemented in. So is it real to you that as a little kid in elementary school, here you are going to classes and you're always getting in trouble. Your dad is literally trying to bribe you to get good grades. And no matter what you do, you can't get good grades. You just can't get the grades that your dad wants you to get and that the teachers are trying to get you to get. So you're getting into trouble. You're being told you're emotional. You're having emotional distress. You can't get the good grades. Does it make sense that any child in a similar situation would likely come to the conclusion that they're stupid because no matter what they do, they're not getting good grades?
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Like we're not doing a brain surgery here or anything, right? Like it's very A plus B equals C, very logical, very sequential. You are being told to get good grades. You are trying and you can't. So you're experiencing disappointment from your father. You're disappointed, and then your teachers are disappointed, and then talking about how you're disappointment. Any kid in that situation is going to conclude, well, wow, like I'm a disappointment, right? Which is one of your beliefs, which is one of the other ones that if we were to work together, we'd be working on that one. But the other one is related to your intelligence. I'm stupid. I can't get good grades, even when money is being handed to me, right?
Yeah.
So is it real to you? This is where you probably picked up, I'm stupid.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with yes.
Cool. Always have to double check because this isn't an exact science where if we don't pinpoint the exact date and experience, it doesn't work. It just has to be real to you. And as long as it's real to you, we can move forward. Cool. So we're going to play this game. And what we're going to do is we're going to come up with possible explanations for why you experienced what you experienced. Okay. So one possible explanation, my dear Elisabeth, for why you could not get good grades in elementary school is because you're stupid. That's one possible explanation for why you didn't get good grades, okay? Another possible explanation is that you weren't interested in what was being taught, so you didn't apply yourself. I literally heard you talk about when you were in middle school, once I started being interested, I started to do better, right?
Yes.
I've seen so many people where in school, they didn't really give a shit of what was being taught, so they don't apply themselves. So of course they don't get good grades. They don't pay attention. They're not interested. So why would they get good grades? So one possible explanation for why you didn't get good grades is because you're stupid. Another possible explanation for why you didn't get good grades is because you weren't interested. So you didn't apply yourself. I would suggest another possible explanation for why you didn't get good grades is you were going through a lot of emotional strife and stress to the point where you were over in the corner crying during school. So you couldn't focus on your schoolwork because you had a lot of other things going on that were not being addressed and you were being taken care of emotionally. Is that a possible explanation?
It is.
Cool.
I'm gonna guess that's most of what it probably was.
Cool. And another possible explanation is you didn't apply yourself because you weren't interested, right? Another possible explanation is, and this is something I've seen more and more with students and kids these days, is that the way that you were being taught didn't align with how you learn. There's all sorts of different learning styles. There's experiential, there's visual, there's auditory. And a lot of times schools and classrooms teach in one specific way. And sure, that works for a chunk of kids, but then there's all these other kids where it's like they're sitting there going, this doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't learn in this way. I'm not a visual person, or I'm not an auditory person, or I need to actually have one-on-one time. Is it possible that the way that you were taught in elementary school just didn't align with how you learn effectively? Is that a possibility?
I think that's how it is for a lot of kids that went to school, or even I don't know how much it's changed nowadays, but I know you got like iPads in classrooms and more there's needs, and like back then, yeah, no. Not so much. So yeah.
Oh, you're cutting out completely. I can't hear you anymore.
Oh no.
Okay, now you're back.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. I don't know where I cut off.
So it sounds like we've got a handful of different possible reasons for why you didn't get good grades. One is you're stupid. One is you weren't interested. One is you were dealing with all sorts of emotional issues. One is the way that they were teaching just didn't align with how you learn, right? We could probably hang out here for the next half hour and come up with a whole long list of possible reasons that for why you didn't get good grades, which are different than the conclusion that you reached when you were a little girl is, I can't get good grades because I'm stupid, right? Now, we have this whole list of other possibilities. So is it real to you that the conclusion you reached when you were younger, oh, I'm stupid, that that's not the truth about you? It's just one of many possible truths?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. So again, intellectually, you understand that. Intellectually, you get that. What we need to do is to remove that conclusion, though, from down here. So what I'd like you to do is close your eyes and go back to being in a scene where you're looking at a report card or some grades and you failed again, right? You didn't do well. And it seems like you can practically see I'm stupid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, open your eyes and look at this mug here. You can see the mug, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. What color is it?
It is white.
Mm-hmm. And what size is it?
A medium-sized mug.
Beautiful. And can you point to it?
Yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So anything that you can actually see on planet Earth has a color, a size, and you can point to it, right?
Yes.
Close your eyes again. And I know you said it seems like you could see I'm stupid in that scene where you're getting bad grades. Now tell me, can you actually see with a color and a shape and a size, can you actually see I'm stupid?
No.
You can't, can you? It's not there to be seen. Right?
Nope, just a green report card.
Right. Yes, exactly. Right. So we agree you never actually saw I'm stupid, right? You saw a green report card? Cool.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm stupid was not there to be seen and you couldn't actually see it, where has it existed all these years?
Just in my brain.
Perfect. Absolutely. So you didn't see I'm stupid, but you saw evidence that made you think I'm stupid. And the evidence, all you ever actually saw was a green report card, right?
Yeah.
So if I had been there, I could have seen that green report card, right?
Yes.
And what was on the report card? Because it's not just the report card, the green report card that made you feel I'm stupid. I'm guessing it was something on the report card. What was on the report card that made you think, oh, here's the evidence that I'm stupid?
Usually that I needed a parent signature because it was not progressing, or I was not progressing satisfactorily.
Cool. Perfect. So you saw a green report card that required a parent's signature because there was some statement that said you weren't progressing appropriately, right?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. Great. Now, my best friend in middle school, she got all D's and F's a couple semesters. What do you know about whether or not she's stupid because that happened?
I wouldn't assume that at all.
Right. Do you know anything for certain about her intelligence because that happened?
No.
You know, goose egg about her intelligence, right? Absolutely nothing about her intelligence because that happened. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. There was another kid that I went to high school with who he was just this fascinating fellow. And I remember walking home with him one day because I lived pretty close to my high school. And it was the day that grades came out. And he showed me his report card. You know, here I was with all the straight A's. And I was like, let's see what you got. And he pulled it out and he had like B's, D's. He had one F, a bunch of C's, and a bunch of D's. And I just looked at him and was like, huh, interesting. Now, what could I have known about whether or not he was stupid based on me seeing his report card? That was not very good.
Nothing really. I mean, yeah, I would assume.
Oh, no, not assume. No assuming. I'm just curious what you know for sure.
Oh, nothing.
Yes, exactly. So now we're going to flip this. What do I know for certain about your intelligence? Because when you were in elementary school, you had a green report card that said you weren't progressing adequately. Do I know anything for certain about your intelligence because that happened?
No.
Mm-mm. What do Bram and Greg know about whether or not you're stupid just because your report card needed a parent's signature at the bottom? Do they know anything for certain about your intelligence or whether or not you're stupid because that happened to you?
No.
In fact, it's entirely possible you could have been brilliant and incredibly smart, maybe at some other type of academic pursuit, or you could have been smart when it came to music, or you could have been smart athletically, or perhaps you weren't being taught in a certain way. Perhaps you were absolutely brilliant, but you were bored, right? They don't know anything just because you got that report card. That report card shares absolutely nothing about your intelligence whatsoever. Nobody can know anything for certain about you because that happened, right? Make sense?
Yeah.
So again, you intellectually understand that. But when you're a kid and you see that report card and it's like, oh my God, I have to have the parent's signature, it feels inside like you're stupid, right?
Yeah.
Here's the fascinating thing. We don't know anything for certain about you because you had this report card, these report cards that you had to take home. You don't know anything for certain because the event of getting these report cards and the bad grades, it doesn't mean anything for certain about you. They're meaningless events. You don't know anything for certain. It means nothing about you for certain because the events happened. And an event, a meaningless event by itself, can't make you feel a certain way. It can't force you to feel stupid or smart or awful or happy. So if it's not the event of getting that report card and seeing the request for parent signature on it that actually made you feel stupid, what do you think might have actually made you have that feeling of I'm stupid? If it wasn't the event, what might have caused you to feel I'm stupid?
I guess maybe just, the adults around me that were constantly like, why won't you? Why can't you?
Right. And that was part of it. That was part of the event. But we could do the same thing. Just because you had frustrated adults around you, do I know anything for certain about whether or not you're stupid?
No.
Yep. Right. They could have been frustrated and you could have been underachieving. You could have been bored. Their frustration tells me nothing about your intelligence. Again, their frustration is a meaningless event. Don't know anything for certain about you. So here's the thing. The event happened. Parents, adults frustrated. You got a report card that was lackluster. But it wasn't the report card or their frustration that made you feel or come to the conclusion that you're stupid. What it actually was the meaning that you gave to the event. You got the report card and you gave the report card the meaning, I got this report card because I'm stupid. And that's the kind of conclusion a little kid is going to come to. It's basic, it's simple, it's about them. The moment you gave that event the conclusion or the story, I'm stupid, boom, that's what caused this feeling you've been carrying around all of these years. This feeling that you've been pointing to as the truth about yourself. I know I'm stupid because part of me feels it. That burning, right? That burning feeling. What was it? The adrenaline in my chest. I know I'm stupid because I can feel it here. That feeling you've been carrying around was nothing more than a byproduct of the story you gave to the meaningless event of that report card. You gave the report card the meaning, I'm stupid, that's what caused the feeling inside. To make this real to you, let's imagine what would have happened if everything had been the same, but you gave that event a different story, a different interpretation. So let's say you got the report card, but that day as you walked out of school, Auntie Erin came and picked you up from school, right? Get in the car. And you're like, look at this report card. And I look at it and I'm like, well, yeah, what else are you going to get? You don't even enjoy like what they're teaching you. You're bored with it. And I saw how they were teaching kids. It's totally old fashioned and they're not customizing it to your learning style, which I've kind of picked up because we hang out. So they're not teaching you the way you need to be taught and you're not even interested in it. Wait till you get to the fun stuff. Wait till you get to the fun stuff in middle school. And then when you're adult and you get to pick whatever you want to learn, like if you want to do sports or video games or whatever it is, that's so much fun. That's what you get to learn about. So yes, I would expect you to have that kind of report card because you're not interested and they're not even teaching you right. What's the problem? You're going to do fine. You're going to get great grades. You're way intelligent. You're super smart. As soon as you have some fun and you enjoy what you're learning, and as soon as you are able to be taught in a way that works for you, good. Now, let's go get some ice cream, right? Imagine I had given you that story, that explanation to that same exact event. And you're sitting there. Like, actually, for this to work, close your eyes and just go back to being in elementary school. Like, give yourself 10 seconds to really imagine what that would have been like. And what that would have felt like.
Yeah, I feel like I probably wouldn't have spent all my 20s like trying to like, yeah.
Cool.
And what's funny is what you said is pretty much, I feel like that's almost word for word what I say to my 9-year-old daughter who has dyslexia and struggles so bad with reading and stuff.
Yep. Now, and we'll pause, we'll come back to that in a second. If that had happened to you, if I had shared that, if Auntie Erin had shared that story with you the day you got those report cards and laughed it off and was like, you're brilliant. You're brilliant. Those grades don't matter and don't say anything about your intelligence. Would you have had the feeling inside, I'm stupid?
Probably not. That like the opposite
well,
of
pause. I don't want to probably, because probably means you're trying to guess. Close your eyes. Go back to being a little kid and experience what you would have felt. Really go back and experience Auntie Erin sitting there. We're both laughing at the report card. It's time for ice cream. I'm telling you that you're brilliant. I'm telling you the school isn't doing a great job. As you're sitting there in the car with me and you're imagining this, do you have the feeling, I'm stupid?
No, definitely not.
What's it replaced by?
Just like, I don't know, excitement about like the future and about, yeah, God, I wonder if that's why I went into like the education.
Don't go too far ahead. We're almost done. Stay with me here. Stay with me here. So
yeah, it feels joyful, motivating.
Yep.
Inspiring.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah.
And what I want you to notice is same you, same grades, same report card, same everything. Nothing is different other than the story, the conclusion that you would have reached. Now, if you had given that event of the report card a different story back then, and you had felt joyful and motivated and inspired, and it never even crossed your mind that you were stupid, literally didn't cross your mind, and you didn't feel that way, and then you hadn't carried that with you into middle school and then high school, and again, it hadn't crossed your mind that you were stupid, would you feel that way today as an adult?
Probably not.
It wouldn't cross your mind. you wouldn't have been carrying it with you. It wouldn't have been a feeling that you carried with you. It wouldn't have crossed your mind. It wouldn't have occurred to you. If it hadn't occurred to you then, it wouldn't occur to you today. Not as, this is who I am. This is who I am. This is I am.
Not as such like a core thing.
Yes. Yes. Now, again, we can always like have judgments in certain situations. Like we can wake up and have a brain fart and like say something wrong and go, well, oh shoot, that was stupid. Right. But it's different than like, that's who I am. And that is the lens through which I see life. So what I'd like for you to do now is sit back and close your eyes, take a breath in and out, just like we did at the beginning of the process. And I want you to say the words, I'm stupid.
Okay. I'm stupid.
How does that feel to say?
Not as horrible as the first time. I don't feel like I'm about to burst into tears this time.
Okay. And do you have the adrenaline feeling in your chest? Or the hot electric feeling?
Not really.
No?
Not really.
Not really? Is it still there? Like I'm still trying to check like
well, no, just general nerves.
Got it.
Not
right.
the explosion that happened earlier.
Cool. So I would actually be shocked if all of your nerves and anxiousness went away, because the pattern we're working on is one-on-one back and forth communications, which is your big overarching pattern. So this is going to be nerve-wracking and anxiety creating for you. What we did is we went in and we found one of the beliefs that's part of, the balloons holding up this pattern of being nervous. We popped it. It's part of the cluster. So that balloon is gone, but there's still things like I'm a disappointment. And, if I mess up, something bad will happen. I may be rejected. So there's other balloons that are holding up this kind of nervousness. And this is why it's kind of scary to have this kind of conversation. But from everything that I've seen and watching what happened during the conversation, and then you sharing like that adrenaline and the burst and the burning and the chest is gone, we've cleared out I'm stupid. So just the way that the belief in Santa Claus goes away and doesn't come back, this doesn't come back. Like you can wake up tomorrow morning and say the words I'm stupid, and they're going to feel flat. They're going to feel empty, because we unhooked that from your mind, and your mind is no longer convinced that it absolutely saw that in the world. So we did this whole process. I did a really lengthy version. It was the first time. I wanted to take you through it carefully and slowly so it wasn't scary. And the beautiful part of this work is once we get going with it, that process can be compressed to a few minutes. You can get rid of beliefs like that in a matter of a handful, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes at a time. So over the course of an hour, you can really work through a lot, even though we did this extended version today. So that's the type of thing where, so when you can get rid of them very quickly, the pattern you're experiencing, this nervousness of being in one-on-one communications, we're talking a few hours, 1, 2, 3 hours, we pop the balloons in your cluster, and suddenly we could redo this conversation a week, 2 weeks from now, and it would feel like you were a different person. That nervousness, they're like, oh, the judgment and all that would go away, as long as we got rid of the beliefs, again, very quickly, that are holding your pattern into place. It's not who you have to be for the rest of your life. You don't have to deal with this. You don't have to deal with the resistance and the stress and the frustration that are creating all of this friction as you're trying to build your business. It doesn't have to be something. And I think that's the main message I want everybody who's still with us or still listening to get, is that change doesn't have to be difficult. Change doesn't have to be hard. The reason why you're stuck makes complete and total sense. Change doesn't have to take a long time, and you're not broken. Like those are the main pieces. And it's so ironic because a lot of times people come in with those beliefs. I'm broken. Change has to take a long time. Change is difficult, right? And we have to clear those out first before we can even work on anything else. Because if they believe those things, they're going to sabotage the work. But I really want people today to hear the message, to see that like we just cleared something. A lot of people will be like, I don't even get, did something happen? It's like, yes, it did.
I feel like I just made more progress in this call than I did with like a 1.5 years of therapy.
Exactly. And that's the whole point of this work. It's for entrepreneurs. It's for people who want fast results. We do not sit and talk about your problems. We figure out what they are. We pluck them out. Let's go. What's next? This is for people who want
that
fast.
makes a big difference.
Right? Right? Like, okay, you can tell your story to your friends. Like after the call, I care about it, but I care more about results. Right? Let's get you results. Let's get results.
I'm so here for that.
Exactly. So can you feel though, like, can you feel how it feels different to get rid of a belief? Like, can you, the emotion or physical sensation, like there's usually a sense, especially with the first few beliefs, of like a lightness, like, oh, I'm not carrying this.
Very like kind of, you know, when you get food poisoning and you're just barfing your brains out, and then like that feeling afterwards when you're sitting on the couch, like, oh, I'm not barfing anymore. I feel great. Like that's kind of what I feel right now.
Awesome. I love it. I love to hear that. Like you're on your way. We popped one of the balloons that's holding everything together. And now you can see how it's possible where you get the cluster, your pattern and your frustration and your anxiety go away. So thank you so much for pushing through your resistance, because I know this is literally what makes you nervous and scared. And here you are being brave and coming up in front of everybody and again, pushing through the resistance and the fear to do it, right? So thank you so much. You did absolutely brilliantly and perfectly. And it's quite obvious to me you're not stupid. And I'm glad that you get that now too.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for, having me on to do this.
Absolutely. It was an absolute pleasure. And thank you for playing.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same thing, Elisabeth. I really appreciate the fact that you came on and were willing to be vulnerable enough to go through this process in public. I had goosebumps through most of this, so it probably spoke to something within me as well. Also, Erin, I think that you should, as your tagline going forward, should use, work with Erin will stop you from barfing. I think that's...
There's the new tagline.
I think that'll work.
The emotional barf. It must end eventually.
What does she do? She stops you from barfing.
I think it's more that she helps you barf out your beliefs and then you feel better afterwards.
Oh,
yes, that's...
Greg, you have the best words.
Thanks, guys.
No, Erin, thank you very much also for coming on. It's I have to say, when I watched you do this work with others, I experienced a lot of resistance. Like I'm trying to, okay, so what's the this is obviously
Let's ask the question. What would you have to believe in order to be feeling this resistance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the I have an idea, but before I jump in and start making a guess, the question that kind of is the giveaway, another question to figure things out more quickly is, along with this feeling of resistance, if you slow down time, what are the thoughts that are bubbling up as you're watching it? That gives us the most instant access to the beliefs. What are the thoughts that are coming along with the resistance?
Well, now it hasn't. When I was, the thoughts that were coming on is okay. I mean, when I watched you do this before, my thought is, okay, what am I missing? Like, what's the parlor trick that's going on here? How am I being like, what am I not picking up on?
I know what it is.
What is it?
This is too good to be true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It can't be this easy.
Can't be easy. Change can't be easy.
Right. Change has to be hard. Exactly.
Change must be difficult. You got it. You're already on it. This is exactly it. Because you have that belief, it doesn't matter how many times you watch me do this process. It'll actually get worse. If you watched me eliminate a belief in 3 or 4 minutes, the resistance would probably be stronger. Because you have the belief that change must be difficult or some variation of that, that's going to explain why you have the resistance. If we went and did a session, got rid of that, I guarantee you could come and watch these processes and you'd be like, oh, makes sense. So it's just the belief that's causing that pattern in that experience.
And I don't know what it was about this specific session that I didn't have that feeling at all.
Got it. So it's totally gone?
As far as I can tell.
Interesting.
So thank you for this the double session you did, both me and Elisabeth at the same time.
You're welcome.
That's a very good parlor trick.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you both. This was so fun. I love this. I absolutely love this. I love that people in this community help each other out like this. Erin, thank you for being here and doing a demo of what people can expect when they work with you. I'm sure that people who are seeing this live and people who watch the replay are going to be interested in how to get a hold of you. What's the process if they want to investigate, if they want to work with you on something for themselves? What should we tell people?
Sure. People can follow me on Facebook and kind of go back through my posts. I post there fairly regularly, and they can see results and stories that I put up. But honestly, the best way to learn more about this work, to see if it's something that would be a good fit, is to go to our website, which is mindfixgroup.com. And I invite people to go straight to the results page. It's like 3 miles long, and at the top there's a ton of videos, and then you scroll past the videos and it's just all of the screenshots of the messages that we've gotten over the years of, this changed my life. You know, it's been 1 hour and I no longer procrastinate. My feelings of worthlessness have gone away after, you know, I tried to work on them in 15 years of therapy. And you can just get a sense of the type of results that are typical for our clients to see if it aligns with what the kind of the frustration and stresses that you're experiencing. We also have a case studies page for people who want to dive deeper. We have a free training. There's a 1 hour video training on there that explains the relationship between thoughts and emotions, behaviors and results. And then if people are interested and they want to explore this further, there's a big green apply button at the top. Click that, grab a spot in my calendar, answer a handful of questions, and we'll just go in and dive in and have a call together and do some exploring.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. I think we'll probably end the live session here, but we will be in touch with you both on a couple other things. So again, thank you both so much for doing this. It is, Elisabeth, it takes a ton of courage to do this, to come on in this group. So thank you. Thank you so much for doing that. And Erin, again, thank you for sharing with, you know, your unique talent and ability with the people in this group.
Sure thing.
All right. Take care, everybody.